to the big story tonight. Finally, some hope for the LGBT community. The Supreme Court today offered to hear the curative petition seeking to decriminalize homosexuality, referring the matter to a 5-member constitution bench. What's more, the court has promised an early hearing in this sensitive case. LGBT rights have been a boiling issue ever since the apex court reversed an earlier verdict by the Delhi High Court in favor of gay rights activists.
Now, even as celebrations did break out across the country after the court decision, both the ruling and the opposition parties were quick to seize the political opportunity. In fact, the reopening of the debate will ensure that the LGBT community gets a fair deal, whatever be the final verdict. Moreover, it will boost India's image amongst the international community at a time when the Modi government is indeed under fire for rising levels of intolerance. Supreme Court's landmark decision on gay rights is indeed a top story right here on India Tonight.
Call it the first glimmer of hope or the first sightings of a rainbow. But the homosexuals in India may have something to cling on to, finally. The Supreme Court today accepted the plea seeking a reversal of its own judgment on Section 377 that makes gay sex a criminal offence. Almost 2 years after the decision that raised eyebrows, the apex court has now referred the matter to a 5-judge constitution bench and assured that the matter will be heard at an early date. Experts believe this decision reflects 3 big things. First, it implies that this is an issue of constitutional importance. Secondly, a constitutional bench means an authoritative verdict. And lastly, it hints at the judiciary's supportive mindset.
Our grounds are that primarily none of the issues that we raised on fundamental rights were addressed. And secondly, there was a change in law which the Supreme Court noticed but did not see the effect of it, and on the basis of which they should have had a fresh hearing, which they didn't do.
The lead counsel on the matter, Kapil Sibal, told the court that, I quote, "Sexuality is the most private of rights and it is not regulated by law." In fact, he went on to argue that if gay sex is not decriminalized, it will make the future generations face social stigma. It all started in 2008 when the Naz Foundation, an NGO working for the rights of homosexuals, moved the Delhi court seeking right to sexuality for homosexuals. And in a landmark judgment, Justice A.P. Shah and Justice S. Muralidhar, then at the Delhi High Court, struck down the archaic law, alleging that it was against the fundamental right of human citizens. After which, some conservative pockets of people moved the Supreme Court against the Delhi High Court order. And ironically, the apex court overturned the decision in 2013, making gay sex criminal once again by restoring Section 377. It also turned down a review petition filed next year, after which the activists filed this curative petition, which is the last resort for justice in the Indian judicial system. Gay rights activists see today's decision as a step in that direction.
The bench means that they take the issues, they think that there's some merit in it, right? So hopefully it's a good thing, it's a good thing.
I don't think the case being determined either way is going to affect the struggle in any way, but definitely a positive decision or positive opinion from the court.
Though the apex court still has to decide on the merits of the case.
Today's decision is a historic move which has given the LGBT community hope of being included in the society which they have been alienated from for far too long. After all, it is time that this archaic mindset and the law of 1861 changes in India of 2016. Arun Nayal, ET Now, New Delhi.
It has been referred to a larger bench, so we should wait for the outcome whenever it is due. I don't think it would be correct to speak about the merits of the case in terms of the arguments on both sides, because now the matter is before the Honorable Supreme Court.
We have always believed that Section 377 should be decriminalized. Freedom of choice should be left to individual. It's a good day for LGBT community. We sincerely hope that the Honorable Supreme Court, which has decided to review its judgment, that's what the Constitution Bench reference apparently discloses, would look at all aspects.
देखिए वो कहते हैं ना, उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है, और अगर उनकी उम्मीद जगी है और ये उनके लिए उनके संदर्भ में अगर कानून सोचना चाहता है, रीथिंक करना चाहता है, रिफर करना चाहता है, तो ये अच्छी बात है उनके लिए, एक कम्युनिटी के लिए, एक समुदाय के लिए। जो कई लोग ऐसे हैं जो उनमें से जो उनका दोष नहीं है।
We have been saying that Article 377, Section 377 should be decriminalized so that all these sections of our society get their due place in our social life. The petition was to decriminalize that particular section, and by admitting that petition, Supreme Court has considered there is a strong point which cannot be ignored.
And at ET now, we've decided to put things in perspective. And so the big question that we're raising this evening is that how can a law that was made in 1861 still be valid in India of 2016? Just to put it in perspective, the laws that were made in 1861 included bigamy and polygamy, which was legal in the United States, and of course then abolished in 1862, just a year later. The world in 1861 did see women being denied the right to vote in the United States. Again, that was a law that was abolished in 1920. In 1861, child marriage was still valid. The laws were framed against it in 1929. But to all our horrified tales, the sexuality clause does stay. An 1861 law is still very valid in 2016, and two consenting individuals of the same sex, if they want to have consensual sexual relations, can actually be put behind bars. But how does the world stand and look at this issue? Sandeep?
That's right, Supriya. Interesting facts there as well. Let's look at which are the countries in the world where homosexuality is criminalized. India, of course, is one of them. So is Iran, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Yemen, Pakistan, Nigeria. These are the countries in the world. That's the company we're keeping right now. Now let's look at which are the countries where homosexuality is decriminalized. And there you'll see the developed world largely, and even some important developing countries like China. So US, China, Australia, UK, Canada, even Nepal and Iraq. Those are countries where homosexuality is decriminalized. The choice is for the Supreme Court to make on what company should India now be keeping.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.